This is CBN NewsWatch.
And thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Wendy Griffith. President Trump caused a firestorm of controversy Wednesday when he criticized Jews who support the Democratic Party, accusing them of disloyalty to Israel. Was it, as some allege, anti-Semitism, or was it a point that needed to be made? Dale Hurd has more.
It all started with this comment.
In my opinion, you vote for a Democrat, you're being very disloyal to Jewish people, and you're being very disloyal to Israel. And only weak people would say anything other than that.
And that outraged some American Jewish leaders.
I will be exactly clear on what that was: anti-Semitism. The charge of disloyalty or dual loyalty has been used against Jews for thousands of years.
75 to 80% of the American Jewish community regularly vote for the Democratic Party and oppose Trump, and calling the vast majority of that community disloyal and unintelligent is a disgraceful smear.
But the president doubled down.
Isn't that anti-Semitic?
No. It's only in your head. It's only anti-Semitic in your head.
President Trump has raised a strange contradiction. Why do so many Jews still support the left when it has largely turned against Israel? And why are so many American Jews still Democrats when some allege the party has been infected with anti-Semitism? This store owner in Jerusalem says Trump is right, 1,000,000%. The Democrats are not loyal. They were always against us, against the people, against the country, against Israel. They brought us Clinton and Obama. And what did Obama do? Only trouble. And this Israeli says, if Trump said it, in my opinion, I agree with him 100%. This week, Trump was dubbed the King of Israel on social media because he has supported Israel more than any other American president. His daughter and son-in-law are Jewish. So it's an awfully long stretch for liberals or even Jewish leaders to say that Trump is anti-Semitic.
I think they enjoy this because they feel that it distracts from, them defending Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar. The truth is, the president stands up for American Jews. He stands up for Jews around the world. He's been a great friend to our community and to Israel.
The Jerusalem Post took American Jewish Democrats to task, saying in a commentary, much of the hostility to Israel within the Democratic Party can be attributed to the passiveness of non-Orthodox American Jews. Many of these consider support for social radicalism to be a far higher priority than support for Israel.
Interesting story. Dale joins us now. Dale, why are so many American Jews Democrats?
It goes back to their history in Europe. They associated the right with danger. What was the Jewish prayer? Bless the Tsar and keep him far from me. They associated nationalism and patriotism with danger. And long before the Nazis, the right in Germany was dangerous for them. They supported Marxism when it came along, many of them because they hoped that it would bring equality for Jews in Europe, and that's sort of carried on here.
Yeah, and as you reported, this raises some interesting contradictions, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at the BDS movement, the Boycott, Divestment, Sanctions movement, there aren't a lot of Republicans in that movement. That's a left-wing movement, and it targets Israel. The corrosive kind of approach to Israel, that's not coming from the Republican Party. You're going to pretend that Donald Trump, the Republican president, is somehow bad for Israel.
Or
Sorry.
Or racist,
yeah,
which is
or
ridiculous.
Anti-Semitic, yeah.
I mean, he grew up in New York. He's worked with a lot of Jewish people his whole life. Like, his son-in-law is Jewish. His daughter is Jewish.
A converted Jew.
His grandchildren are Jewish. Yeah. So, well, I guess these contradictions get even stranger when you go over to Europe, don't they?
Yeah. Okay, so let me tell you a story. So a Swedish city where Jews are under attack from Muslims. And I want to do a story, and I called a Jewish leader in the city, said, I want to do a story about the threat to Jews in your city from, Muslim refugees. And he said, well, I'll do a story about how Jews and Muslims are cooperating. He did not want to be in a story that he thought was politically incorrect. Well, guess what? Most of the Jews have left that city. And that is an example of, and I have confronted this all across Europe, where Jews are in great danger, and many Jewish leaders do not want to look, like they're conservative or like they're politically incorrect, because their roots are so deep into the left wing.
Wow. And then, of course, there are those who are making Aliyah, going to Israel and trying to get out of all of that nonsense.
Right.
But then there's a whole host, like you said, that are just very politically correct.
And Wendy, I think they're being forced to make a decision. This can't continue. They're allied with forces that hate Israel.
Wow. Wow. Great reporting. Thanks, Dale. We appreciate it. Well, President Trump's latest move to curb illegal immigration is coming under fire. While it would keep families together, it would also detain them until their claims are processed. CBN's Jenna Browder has the story from Washington.
The new DHS policy would effectively end the practice of catch and release. Critics say it would cause more problems than it solves.
Right now we have more than a million plus backlog in terms of the immigration courts.
Immigration advocates question the practicality of the move.
Most likely it's going to take several years. And then what the government's trying to do is say all of those people who are in detention, all the families who are in detention should be detained indefinitely while that process is pending.
The policy, announced Wednesday, would end a previous rule that children detained with their families could be held for 20 days. Now families would be kept together and held until their court date. Acting DHS Secretary Kevin McAleenan defended the move and also unveiled plans for new housing with medical facilities, soccer fields, and even access to video conferencing for court proceedings. He said the old agreement basically served as an incentive for illegal entry.
Human smugglers advertise, and intending migrants know well that even if they cross the border illegally, arriving at our border with a child has meant that they will be released into the United States to wait for court proceedings that could take 5 years or more.
Democrats are also blasting the change, accusing the president of wanting to punish children.
This president is absolutely determined to carry out maximum cruelty with little children who are brown.
Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi adding in a statement, quote, "The administration is seeking to codify child abuse." President Trump says congressional inaction is creating the crisis at the border.
If the Democrats would meet and we could fix the loopholes and asylum, which is what you're talking about to an extent. But let me just tell you, very much I have the children on my mind. It bothers me very greatly.
The president is also coming under fire for considering ending birthright citizenship, which is guaranteed in the 14th Amendment.
We're looking at that very seriously, birthright citizenship, where you have a baby in our land, you walk over the border, have a baby. Congratulations, the baby's now a U.S. citizen. We're looking at it very, very seriously.
The new rule would put more pressure on Congress to act. It would take effect in 60 days, but it already faces quite a few legal challenges, so it could take longer. In Washington, Jenna Browder, CBN News.
Thanks, Jenna. In Colorado, a federal appeals court rules that the state's presidential electors do not have to back the candidate who wins the state's popular vote. The Hill reports the case revolved around the decision of then Secretary of State Wayne Williams to order the electors to back Hillary Clinton in 2016. The appeals court ruled that the Constitution provides presidential electors the right to cast a vote for president and vice president with discretion, and the state does not possess countervailing authority to remove an elector and to cancel his vote in response to the exercise of that constitutional right. The decision is likely headed to the Supreme Court. With tensions still high in the Middle East, Iran today unveiled a new long-range defense missile system. Iran's president says the system is able to recognize up to 100 targets at once and confront them with 6 different weapons. The new system now competes with Russia's S-300 missile system. The U.S. reimposed sanctions on Iran after it pulled out of the nuclear deal last year. President Trump argues the accord did not limit Iran's ballistic missile program. Well, high school students in Hong Kong are making their voices heard. Hundreds of teenagers gathered in downtown to rally for political reforms as residents continue with their anti-government protests there. The students chanted, "Liberate Hong Kong" and "Revolution of our times." They also called for Hong Kong's leader, Carrie Lam, to step down. Residents are demanding the withdrawal of an unpopular extradition bill and full democracy. Details on one of the biggest multimedia events using technology to reach the nations with the good news of Jesus Christ. That's next. And before we go to the break, here's a look at what's trending on CBNNews.com.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com. Want to be a part of a community that inspires your spiritual growth while winning prizes? The all-new MyCBN app. Connect with the community for prayer and encouragement. Track and set spiritual goals. Enjoy conversation starters with friends and family. And collect points to win prizes. The all-new MyCBN app. A great place to belong. Download the app at cbn.com/mobile. Grow, connect, have fun. The all-new MyCBN app.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs, from health to entertainment, you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place, from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Check your local listings or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Come home to the sounds of Southern Gospel from CBN Radio. You'll enjoy a rich Southern blend of bluegrass, classic gospel, and Southern gospel favorites like the Gaithers, the Crab Family, and bluegrass sounds like Mountain Faith. So make yourself at home with the all-new CBN Southern Gospel, now available at cbnradio.com.
It's one of the biggest gospel crusades in the nation, the Southern California Harvest Crusade with Pastor Greg Laurie. And it's open to the nation and the world now. Pastor Laurie spoke with our John Jessup all about it.
Well, I know you and your team are preparing to celebrate 30 years of Harvest Crusades. What can people expect whether they join you at Angel Stadium in Anaheim or watch by live stream?
They can expect something that is, dare I say it, fun, exciting, engaging, relevant, but at the same time, something that really elevates the message of the gospel. That's the whole point of the SoCal Harvest, which I'm told is the longest running large-scale evangelistic event in American history. We've been doing this 30 years, basically in the same venue, the Angel Stadium. I think people are shocked to find, John, when they come in, it's like a feeling of celebration, almost like a big Christian party. But I don't mean to trivialize it in any way, because when the moment comes for the gospel to be preached, people are quiet. I mean, it's amazing to me to see a stadium fall silent to hear what the Bible has to say. And the most important moment is when we extend that invitation and we see thousands of people walk down on that field to make a profession of faith to follow Christ. And over the last 30 years, we have seen, this is not an exaggerated number, we have seen 500,000 people make that profession of faith to follow Christ. So that's the moment that it's all worth coming for. But the way we get those people there is because Christians bring them. So we're always emphasizing to folks that come, bring a non-believer with you, because 85% of those that come down in the field to make that commitment or recommitment to Christ were brought by a friend. And then this can be an experience that you can have wherever you are in the nation or even around the world. You just go to our website, socal.harvest.org, and you can watch it live, or you can go back and watch it archived on demand, or you can download our Harvest app for Apple TV or our app for the Roku box, and you can watch it on your big screen TV as well. You can send a link to your friend. They can watch it on a tablet, on a phone. If it's an Android phone, iOS device, we have an app for every platform so you can experience this real time.
Final question for you. You know, with so many different ways to reach people today, especially as you mentioned earlier with social media, why do you feel it's important to still host these large-scale crusades like you're popularized by your mentor, Billy Graham?
Well, I think it just goes back historically. I mean, the first crusade, if you will, probably would be Peter on the day of Pentecost. And the Bible even tells us 3,000 believed. And sometimes people say, well, I'm not into numbers. Well, excuse me, God's into numbers. He recorded a number there. Fast forward out of the New Testament, preachers like George Whitefield, D.L. Moody, Billy Sunday, Billy Graham. I think God will always honor the proclamation of his word. And yes, we can reach people in their front rooms today or wherever they are, but there's something very exciting about gathering in a stadium still. Look, people still get together for football games or baseball games, for massive concerts. Why should we not as Christians have an event like this so we can get together? Because I'll tell you, Jesus says, when two or more are gathered together in my name, I'm there in the midst of them. You know, the Lord manifests his presence in a special way when Christians gather together. And the most important thing is, I have to say, there's nothing like sitting in a stadium and hear 3,000 people pray a prayer of asking Christ into their life. If you ask me, that's a little taste of heaven.
Well, Pastor Lori, I was at Harvest America last year in Dallas covering the event, and I met people who traveled near and far and those who made a commitment to follow Christ. It was a special time then, and I know it's going to be a special time for the people who take part this week. So thank you so much for being with us, and congratulations. Here's to the next 30 years and many more.
Thanks for having me on, John.
Well, you can also watch the SoCal Harvest right here on the CBN News Channel. That's August 23rd through the 25th at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. How one woman is helping empower, support, and connect young girls who have lost their mothers.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
On October 1st, 1961, history was made when a tiny station began transmitting the first signals of the Christian Broadcasting Network.
CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network.
And now, a new era has begun with the all-new CBN News Channel.
Just moments ago, the Iron Dome intercepted an incoming rocket right on the Gaza border.
Administering in this area, spiritual warfare is definitely involved.
A 24/7 news network, bringing you the news you want from a source you can trust.
In Kenya, 40% of the medical services are actually provided by these Christian hospitals.
Let's talk about the economy.
Believers here are joining together to win people to Jesus Christ.
All your favorite shows now in one place. Go to CBNNewsChannel.com to find out how to get the CBN News Channel on your TV all day, every day. CBN News.
When I came to Regent University, it's like the world opened up. I felt like I needed to advance my career and go back to school. Regent was a perfect fit for me. The Regent professors are world class. You are equipped. The focus of the faculty is on each individual student, whether it's online or in person. You become a part of Regent's family. You carry with you not just the content and the knowledge, but the confidence to understand that we can be significant in the world.
Regent University. Follow your path.
And welcome back. Well, the death of a parent is devastating to any child. When Cara Belvane lost her mom at 9, she felt completely alone. As she grew older, Cara realized thousands of other girls have suffered the same trauma. Now, she's helping empower, support, and connect them to bring healing. Caitlin Burke has the story.
My mother's death really shaped every aspect of my life.
From the moment Cara Belvane's mom died from breast cancer, Cara's life became before and after. She went from student, friend, and a kid to the girl who'd lost her mother.
You are sort of living in a world that is going on as normal for everyone else, and you're trying to keep up with that. And yet you have this thing that makes you so incredibly different.
Cara says that while she had family support, she was craving something more.
I think ultimately what I was craving was, for someone to just say, it is survivable, because it's, just feels like a 1-ton brick on your chest that will never lift. And so that's hard, for any child, who's experienced a trauma. It's hard for them to see past that.
As an adult, Belvane met others who had lost their mothers, becoming for them a friend and mentor. Then she took it one step further, starting the organization Empower Her.
The nonprofit is modeled around the things that Cara felt like she needed most when her mom passed away: a strong female role model and the knowledge that she wasn't alone in her grief.
Empower Her currently serves more than 150 girls up to the age of 24. They participate in events like a Mother's Day retreat so that they can connect with one another, but they're also matched with a mentor.
When we have an event at Empower Her, the girls, get to stand around, look around the room, and realize they're not alone in their grief. And then the mentor program that we started is, designed to support the girl year-round, and promote positive growth in her grief journey.
Mentor Anne-Marie Leto, who lost her mom when she was 10 years old, found out about Cara's work in college.
I met Cara, and it was as if somebody was reading my mind. Everything that I had gone through, she had gone through, and now she wants to do something about it.
Anne-Marie joined the list of Empower Her mentors, expecting to be matched with a stranger who was going through the loss of her mom. Instead, she got Molly.
I actually was introduced to Molly's family when I was in high school. I was living in North Attleboro, Mass, and I had gotten in touch with Molly's mom, Britton, who had needed a babysitter. So Molly at the time was only 3 or 4 months old, and I was just a teenager. So I started babysitting Molly from when she was really little, and we grew a really close relationship.
About the same time that Anne-Marie started looking for a mentee with Empower Her, Molly's mom, Britton, got sick. Given their special relationship, Anne-Marie was able to make her a promise before she died.
I did tell her about Empower Her, and I told her that I'll always be by Molly's side, and I will always look out for Molly. And she also has a younger sister, Maddie, who was only 1 at the time.
Anne-Marie has kept her promise. Molly says the most valuable things that Anne-Marie provides are memories.
Like the memories that I didn't remember, kind of like the ones that I don't remember, like when I was really, really, really small.
Britton would always encourage people to go for it, encourage Molly to go for it. Molly's the only girl on an entire team of boys at hockey, and I just completely see Britton in all of that.
Molly's dad, Mike, says he wants his daughters to become strong women and recognize what they can offer because of this great loss.
My hope is that one day, she's going to be like Anne-Marie and be able to help another little girl that's in the same unfortunate situation.
These girls are at risk of, really poor choices and bad behavior. And so if, I'm trying to tell community members, maybe she's not as fine as you think she is. Maybe it's okay to ask her how she's doing, and it's okay to offer her help, and maybe it's okay to talk about her loss. She's not going to be reminded of anything that she's not already thinking of, She'd prefer it over you whispering behind her back.
Is there anything that you do to get through the sad times? I just think of the memories, the happy ones.
Caitlin Burke, CBN News, Norwell, Massachusetts.
Sweet story. Up next, what the president is doing to give back to thousands of veterans who have made sacrifices for our country.
Remember for a moment what it was like to be a child. You believed every story you were told. You saw a world full of endless possibilities. What stories will the world's orphaned and at-risk children believe? We believe the Bible tells the only story truly worth believing. We believe that every child should have the opportunity to dream. The chance to take challenges and turn them into possibilities. The chance to stand on the promises of God, to recognize their place in the greatest story ever told. They have their whole lives ahead of them. Theirs is a world of endless possibilities. They are looking for a story to believe. We will tell them that story. Will you join us?
President Trump signed an order to forgive student loan debt for thousands of disabled veterans. Trump made the announcement at a veterans convention in Kentucky yesterday. He says there will be no federal income tax on the forgiven debts, adding that he'll also ask states to waive their taxes on the loans.
Altogether, this action will wipe out an average of $30,000 in debt owed by more than 25,000 eligible veterans who have made immense sacrifices, the ultimate sacrifice in many ways for our nation. They've made a sacrifice that's so great, and they're such incredible people, and they never complain. They never complain. That's hundreds of millions of dollars in student debt held by our severely wounded warriors. It's gone forever.
Beautiful gesture there. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Newswatch. You can find more on the issues you care about most at cbnnews.com. You can also watch CBN News programs anytime on our CBN News Channel. We'd love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today. Email us, please, at newswatch@cbn.com or reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We hope you'll join us next time. Until then, from all of us here at CBN Newswatch, goodbye and God bless you.
Region's first ROTC graduate student.